time walking home from school, I found a little container where some ice cream had been eaten, of course, to the empty, with a little wire, you know, those little wires that, and I saw it, and it had little ants that got stuck there, and I took them off, and I would lick the corners because it tasted like vanilla. It was vanilla. He didn't give me Asco. I mean, we didn't know what Asco was. We didn't know about germs. We didn't know about nothing like that. We're just uneducated. Nobody told us, you know, we didn't believe anything they told us anyway. So, and then one time, my dream was to have crackers with butter, real butter. And so one time I had a little money, and I bought a square of butter, one square, and a little box of crackers. So I went under a bush, a big bush, and ate it there with I would get out. I didn't have nothing to spread it, so I just got the cracker, and because it was sort of melting, and it never occurred to me that it would melt completely because it wasn't that hot, but it was hot enough outside. So I ate about half, and I said, I'm going to save half for later instead of taking it home to my sisters or brothers. I was greedy, and I hid it. You know, I put it on a branch where, you know, it wouldn't be on the ground. But it melted, and there was a whole bunch of ants. So I didn't get to eat it. Nobody got to eat it, and that serves me. One time, my dream was to have ground meat to myself as much as I wanted, you know, because we never got anything goodies or nothing. And I went to buy, I think, half a pound of ground meat at the little grocery store. And I waited until everybody finished eating supper, because we had a wood stove. So I didn't know how to, you know, level the fire or nothing, but I got the skillet, and I put it there, and I moved it around, and I put salt. And when I was getting ready to eat it, it was so salty that I couldn't eat it. Awful. I couldn't eat it. And then this is a biggie. When I was about 15, 16, I wanted to go dancing too with my big brother. Used to take me and Lupe dancing to a place here, La Chiquita, in Zaragoza. That was the place to go. It was a fancy place there. And I was in heaven, you know, because when they would take me, Lupe was always her favorite. You know, she always got what she wanted, and she was good. She was nice and very clean and very hard worker. She knew how to do everything right, and I didn't know how to do anything right. And so they would take us, and then of course my mother had to get sick, you know, with her depression, and no, she got operated on from her gallbladder, and she was home recuperating. They had brought her home about 2 days later, and of course I couldn't go dancing with Lupe and Manuel because I had to stay home with my mother. And I hated it. I think I cried, I don't know, but I thought it was unfair. And then but the worst part that I can't forget to this day is that we used to take turns cooking breakfast. When my mother was sick, nobody could make breakfast. We would go in with a wood stove, Andy. Wood stove. I had to go get the wood from outside and feed it, and God knows I made potato. I don't know what I made, but we had to make breakfast. And tortillas. Lots of tortillas, about a stack about this big. So the following morning, they woke me up to go make breakfast. No, le dije, Lupe, es el turn de Lupe, and she went out last night and I didn't. But they made me, because Lupe was desvelada. She was desvelada from dancing all night. I used to take care of a little girl named Nancy that lived about a block away, and her mother was a single parent. Her mother was a waitress in Isleta, so she had to have a babysitter to take care of Nancy. So I told her that I would take care of her, and I did. And it was neat because it was extra money. It wasn't very much money at now, but at the time it was money that I would never have. So I would go and dress her and feed her and take her home with me, and then bring her back when her mother was getting ready to come home. But what happened? They talked to Mrs. Perez. Her name was Mrs. Perez. She was a white lady but married to a Mexican guy. That Lupe would take better care of her than me. So they took my job away from me. And like I said, Lupe was everybody's favorite. So they made a plan that Lupe would take care of it there at the house, and leave me home doing her work. So I had to do my job and her job because she was over there taking care of Nancy. Where before I would take Nancy home and do my chores, and then in the evening I would bring her back. But no, they decided that it was too cold, because it was in the winter, that it was too cold for Lupe to go up in the mornings and come back. So she stayed there taking care of Nancy while I stayed home doing her job. Is that ugly or is that ugly? And I always had to do the dirty work, being out in the sun to keep wood where we're washing clothes. I was the one that had to bring the wood and warm the water for this. Because we used to, how awful, huh? We used to have a tub with water, and she would put soap in there, my sister, and then we would put the sheets and all the big stuff with a stick in there, because it was real hot, to disinfect them and to whiten them. They don't whiten clothes with boiling soapy water, but I had to do that.